Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be looking into Grade 8 versus Diploma piano exams. So I think most of us have the understanding that there are usually 8 grades in piano. That generally tends to be quite typical here in the UK. And the reason I wanted to do this is just to really help you come to understand just where your piano playing is potentially going, what you can aim for, what you can aspire for. And so if this is helpful, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you. So I think the first thing is really just to consider exactly what the Grade 8 exam is. So as I've mentioned, there are 8 grades in total. This is something that I think is really helpful if you're a beginner, just to kind of consider. The 8th grade kind of make it sound like a different dimension or something, like a sixth sense. It has that sort of reputation actually. And for people who achieve their Grade 8, it generally is considered some sort of pinnacle anyway in terms of piano learning. And it is in many respects, because it is a huge achievement to achieve your Grade 8. But I think what can come with that is a little bit of stigma and maybe even a little bit of a myth. So whenever Beethoven wrote his Ninth Symphony, this was a symphony that was made composers thereafter really self-conscious. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Mahler had a sort of writer's block, as it were, whenever he came to writing his Ninth Symphony. So the Ninth Symphony kind of became like a thing, and so rather than kind of making, the Grade 8 a thing, which it may be for some people, this is just a little bit of an opportunity to get to grips with actually what that looks like, how you can work towards that, and how you can really achieve that for yourself and for your playing. So as well as your similar motion scales, your contra motion scales, and your arpeggios, there's also a few slightly more advanced type of scales that will come in really useful, not only just for the Grade 8 exam, but also will appear in your piece learning. And those scales include scales in thirds, scales in sixths, diminished sevenths, dominant seventh scales. And your sight reading is also quite similar to what's come before, in the sense that you'll get 30 seconds to look at it. But now the sight reading exercises are a full page long. You'll also be looking into playing in meters, including 12/8, playing in B and D flat majors, spreading chords, playing simple ornaments, and an accelerando, an acceleration in tempo. So I mentioned these specific things because these are things that if you really target and really practice before your Grade 8 exam, you're going to be in a really good position, not only to learn the Grade 8 pieces, these things are almost certainly going to come up in the Grade 8 pieces, but you'll also feel super comfortable whenever it comes to actually doing your sight reading. So one of the questions you may have is, how much should I practice? And actually, I think there's quite a tangible answer for this. So on the ABRSM website, they have a section, it's quite hard to find, and so I'll link it in the description. You'll come across an acronym called TQT, which is called, or stands for Total Qualification Hours. And what this basically means is this is the number of hours that the ABRSM recommends that you will need in order to fulfill this qualification to the best of your ability. And so for the Grade 8, this comes to 300 hours per year, or approximately 1 hour per day. So if you are someone that's at the initial or the Grade 1 or even the sort of beginner stages, doing an hour a day at this stage may seem a little bit daunting. And so I just want to reassure you that this is something that is a gradual process. So most people aim to take approximately an exam a year, and the earlier grades sometimes people do it in 6 months. This is a gradual process, and as your piano practice becomes just better, just more productive and more rewarding, that hour a day, which now might seem like a lot of time, in a number of years from now, that hour a day will feel like what doing 15-20 minutes of practice a day is for you now. And so this is also one of the reasons why I make YouTube videos, because I want to help you become more informed about where you are in your learning, where you're going, but also to help you be more productive in your practice, so it's more enjoyable, more fruitful, more rewarding. So I should also say that with the Grade 8 exam, you get some UCAS points. This is especially relevant if you're considering going on to university. And so for the Grade 8 exam, you get, if you get a distinction in the Grade 8, you get 30 UCAS points. I'm actually not quite sure at this stage how that compares with other A levels, but what I'm going to do is include a little bit more information in the description below, and that'll just show how that 30 UCAS points adds up with, let's say, getting an A-star at A level. So in terms of the diplomas, I use the word diploma specifically because actually there are 4 level diplomas. this specifically with ABRSM. And so the first type of diploma, the one just straight up from grade 8, is called the ARSM Diploma. Then you've got the dipABRSM, then you've got the LRSM, the licentiate, and then you've got the FRSM, which is the Fellowship of the Royal Schools of Music. So the FRSM is the one right at the top, and it's the equivalent to, I think it's a Master's in Musical Performance. Again, I'll include the link in the description below so that you can see some of these things. And so really, I mean, if you want to be taking piano lessons to an advanced level, you really want to be working with a teacher who has either got a Master of Music in Solo Piano Performance, ideally from a music college. We're talking about the Royal Northern College of Music, where I studied, did my Masters. We've also got the Royal College of Music, the Royal Academy of Music, the Royal, as RCS now, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, the Welsh one, there are other ones as well. And so like with the grade 8, where you were getting UCAS points, the diplomas offer a little step up from that, in that you actually get letters after your name. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but whenever I was like, I don't know, 17, I thought this was so cool that, you know, I didn't have like, you know, any qualifications or anything at this stage, and that I could be Rory Dowse, insert letters here, and, you know, Esquire or something like that. And I don't know, I mean, like if you're someone that cares about those sort of things, then fine, that's really, really good. I should also point out that having experience counts every bit as much as having a qualification. Just to put this into perspective, a friend of ours got us a wedding present that was a Lord and Lady title. So technically we are Lord and Lady Dowse. That probably means about as much to you as it does to me. So I think we own like a square foot of land or something that we are Lord. We preside over in the Highlands in Scotland somewhere. So yeah, I'll include a link below to how you can book that on Airbnb. And so yeah, just for a sense of perspective, I actually didn't do any diplomas. So I did music degrees. So I have a degree from the Royal Northern College of Music that I think I've mentioned already, a Master of Solo Performance and Piano. I've also got an academic degree from Queen's University, Belfast. I've also studied independently with some other renowned pianists and academics. So what I'm trying to say is that the diploma, if that's something you want to work towards, fantastic. I don't have one. Instead of the other qualifications, and I have that experience. So that's just something for you to consider, maybe something that we can work out together, you can work out with your teacher. Depending on your approach to scale, sight reading, all those other but really, really integral parts of the grade that will have paid dividends if you've done that from grade 1 to grade 8, you may be glad to know that for the ARSM diploma, you don't have to do those things. You're not assessed on those things. It's just a performance exam. You're assessed purely on this recital. And this opens up not only the interesting possibilities of the creative controls of the recital that we've talked about, but actually you're also assessed on something a little bit new, which is that you're assessed on musical communication. And this is where things become really, really exciting. This really is at the heart of what music making is. And so if you have, you know, crossed over that sort of grade 8 path, you're now really getting into the really exciting and rewarding things of what it is to make music at this wonderful level. So this is something that's much more artistic and technical now. So if your question is, do I need to already have my grade 8 before I take my ARSM exam? The answer is yes. The ABRSM specified that's something that you need. So the main difference here is that the ARSM exam is now out of 50 rather than being out of 150. So how does that work? Well, the pieces are marked out of 30, but rather than them being marked out of 30 for each piece like they were before, the pieces as a whole, the performance as a whole, is marked out of 30. So that leaves us 20 marks, and those 20 marks that make up the 30 to the 50 are awarded for the musical communication, the interpretation, the technical delivery that we just talked about. So I'm not going to talk too much about the higher diplomas because that's for another video, another time. But just to put it into perspective, again, you're just talking about a higher quality of playing. You will be more experienced by that stage. So rather than kind of seeing it that the bar is always getting away from you, it's not. You know, approach it from a position of you know, good grace, as it were, that you will be in a good position whenever it comes to those exams. But one of the main differences from there is that you will be required to submit some program notes. So you'll do a little bit of research and you'll write some notes on the pieces that you're playing. Those notes will be then reviewed by the examiner, and then there's something called Viva Voce, or a Viva, sometimes people call it, where the examiner and you will just sit down, you'll have a wee bit of a chat about some of the pieces that you've played, and the examiner will take those program notes into consideration and base some of the questions based on that. And so it's at this stage that you really want to be working with a teacher who's got some sort of background in research, someone who understands how to research, how to go about getting that information, how to present that in a way that's also going to help you in your performance. Just remember, this stuff is not abstract. Sometimes people see the writing side over here and the playing over here. There's good reasons behind that. Again, that's another video, another time. But don't be fooled by that. That's a bluff. These things really, really join together, and the research that you do for your pieces that you write in your program notes will marry together with your performance stuff and just make you, just really help you deliver a much more informed performance. So one of the main differences between the Grade 8 and the ARSM Diploma is really just the creative control that you have in terms of your choice of repertoire. So you're not sort of fixed into having 3 pieces anymore. Instead, now you have a lot more control in the sense that the ABRSM are specifically looking for, first of all, a 30-minute program, 10 minutes of which can be your own choice repertoire. And they're looking for a variety of moods, keys, tempos, etc., etc. So you really, really can build your own recital, which is something that's really, really exciting, and something that, again, will want just consideration with either me or your teacher just before you start really practicing and planning that repertoire. Guys, this has been a pleasure. If you've got value from this, then please hit the thumbs up icon, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell, and please comment. So I'd like to be able to help you with this, make a few suggestions. Some of my students will also be reviewing this page, and perhaps they can make some suggestions that will help you as well. Are you working towards the Grade 8? Are you working towards the Diploma? How do you feel about it? Is it going well? What's not going so well? How can we help? Please comment below. Thank you very much.